Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and I came out to do a video concerning the word Elohim. And a lot of times we hear that the name is both plural and singular. However, a lot of times when they say that, they're backing the theological view of monotheism, and they never really give any examples out of ancient Near Eastern literature when they tell us that it was common for a name to be both plural and singular, as the word Elohim. So I just wanted to give an example of that because some of the examples that apologetics give tend to be kind of shabby because a lot of them don't read ancient Near Eastern literature to give examples. But here is one example of that, and this is what changed my mind about the view of the word Elohim. And this is out of Stephanie Daly's Myths of Mesopotamia, Myths of Ancient Mesopotamia. I found this online, the text from her book, just to use as an example. And here NERGAL goes to the underworld. He's told, and also too in the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's a text out of the ancient Near East. It's not the Epic of Gilgamesh, but another text where Enkidu goes to the underworld, and he's told the same thing, that you will be offered bread, meat, beer, foot bath, and robes, but don't take any of it, because they believed if you ate the food of the underworld and participated in the activities of the underworld, you would not be able to come back out, and you would stay there. And what's interesting in Hebrew literature, a lot of the messengers and divine beings who were offered offerings by human beings declined and did not eat. So it was an ancient Near Eastern idea. And also, there was one character who was denied eternal life, because instead of going to the underworld, he did the same thing in the heavenly realms, or the idea of where the gods lived. And he didn't eat the bread, and it was the bread of life. He didn't put on the robe, and it was the robe of life. And he was declined eternal life because of that. So make a long story short, here NERGAL travels to the underworld and to visit ERESHKIGAL, who is the goddess of the underworld, and the gatekeeper is Namtar. And just like in Egyptian text, they pass through 7 gates here. 7 gates in this particular text. I think Ra passes through more gates than that, but they all have a gatekeeper. So Namtar sees him out there. The gatekeeper opened his mouth and addressed his words to NERGAL. I must take back a report about the god standing at the door. The gatekeeper entered and addressed his words to ERESHKIGAL. Previous to this, we have an excellent view of the underworld as the view of the ancient Near East. You can read that for yourself. My lady, a place is missing here. Probably a deity has come to see us. We'll identify him. ERESHKIGAL made her voice heard and spake to Namtar. Let me identify him. Let me see him at the gate. Let me bring back my lord. Let me bring back to my lord a description of him. And Namtar went and looked at Ura in the shadow of the door. So here, previously it was NERGAL at the door. Now Namtar describes him as Ura. Ura was a god of plague and death and war. Namtar's face went livid as cut tamarisk. His lips drew dark as the rim of a canoe vessel. probably said that wrong. Namtar went and addressed his lady, my lady, when you sent me to your father. When I entered the courtyard of Anu, all the gods were kneeling, humbled before him. All the gods of the land were kneeling, humbled before him. The gods rose to their feet in my presence. Now they, meaning to NERGAL, have gone down to Kernunji. So here, NERGAL is referred to in the plural. What's interesting is some scholars think that when Namtar looks out and describes NERGAL as Ura, he may be mistaken who he sees, and that may be the reason of fear, because he thought it was Ura himself. However, both of these deities could be described in the same way with different names and referred to in the plural, which is interesting. So all depends on how you want to interpret this, but there is the potential for that. So I don't know if you found this interesting. Hopefully, take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.